Hey everybody, Dallas Barber, big game biologist for the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation. Wanted to come talk to you guys a little bit today about private landowners and land managers and how you can grow bigger bucks on your property. There are three things that really go into antler development when it comes to deer. The first being the age of the deer, the second being the habitat available or the nutritional availability on that piece of property, and the third one being genetics. Fortunately, as landowners or land managers, we have got the ability to have an influence on two of those things. Just stay tuned here with us, guys, and we're going to teach you how to grow bigger bucks on your property. So the first facet that we're going to talk about when growing big bucks is talking about age, and specifically age at harvest. So we're wanting to take deer that are 5.5 years old or older. Now this can be something that's really difficult to do on the hoof as far as putting them into specific age years, but what we can do is put those deer into age groups. So talking about groups, you're looking at young deer, mature deer, and old deer. Things you can look for in the field are going to be, on a mature buck are going to be a broad neck. So a neck that streamlines straight into that brisket, kind of a sagging belly, a face that is more narrow than the neck, and a swaying back line. Again, these are things that are difficult to do on a year-to-year basis, but if you keep some of those things in your mind when you're assessing that deer, these can help you increase the maturity of the bucks that you're taking on your property. So next, and probably the most important facet of growing big bucks, is going to be habitat and nutritional availability. So your property has a certain amount of nutrition available to those deer. So there are some things we can do to boost that on your property. Things like controlled burns. These are going to clear the landscape of undesirable woody species and allow new growth, which is very nutritionally high quality. Another thing is going to be timber management. So we can do some techniques like hinge cutting or girdling trees to allow more light to reach the floor of the forest. Another thing we can do is even out that buck-to-doe ratio. And we shot a video a little while back about how that has benefits into growing big bucks, and we'll cover a little bit of those again today. That piece of property you have can only support so many deer. So if we actually even up that buck-to-doe ratio, you're providing more additional nutrients to those bucks. You're allowing them to go into the rut healthier. You're also allowing them to come out of the rut healthier because they're not having to run all over the place trying to cover does during the rut. So keeping that ratio more even will allow for bucks to again be healthier, have more nutrition available to them, and in the end grow bigger antlers. And the last thing we want to talk about is supplemental feeding. This can have great benefits, and especially when you're talking about helping deer in times where that nutritional availability isn't necessarily so available. So people ask me all the time, Dallas, I want to feed deer, I want protein and corn and all these awesome options. Really, some of those techniques we talked about earlier, like controlled burning, hinge cutting, girdling trees, those are providing tons of natural forage, which is actually more preferred by deer. But I always tell them, if you're going to supplementally feed your deer, do so from February to July. So throughout that antler growing period is when all of those additional nutrients are going to be going into antlers. And just one more benefit is you're going to be really helping support fawning. So those does that are in gestation and fawning during those time periods, it's going to help them out a lot. So for those of you land managers or landowners, we can have an impact on age and nutrition. And this time of year, February, is a great time of year to get started on some of those manipulation projects. Just keep in mind that this isn't something that's just going to happen overnight. You need to put in some dedication and some time. So 3-5 years down the road from now, if you guys start now, some of those projects that you guys have started are going to really pay off dividends as far as the quality of bucks that you grow.